They look at me. I say, are you guys out of your mind? There is no place on earth that I would rather be than here, fighting for what I like and what I love. And I'm pissed for one reason only, that I'm not the first fight. I want to be the first one to walk out in there. Yeah. You know, when they put me like on the one of the last fights, you know?
Guys, welcome to another episode of Jibber with Jabber. Today, I have the legend, Renzo Gracie. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here with you guys, boy. Pleasure, boy.
Now, do you know the phrase, the English phrase, I have a bone to pick with you?
I never heard that.
I have a bone to pick with you means talk about something that happened. UAE Warriors, we watched the international. We were talking and I was like, oh man, Renzo, I've been here for a whole week. We did ADXC. I'm so tired. I don't think I'm going to come tomorrow. Somebody convinced me to come the next day, all the way from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. Okay?
And it was good fights.
I'm sitting down. I'm looking. The GSP is there. Good. Javier is there. De onde Renzo? I'm looking. You ditched on us, bro. What happened, bro?
Which one? You're talking about the
Sunday. The one Sunday. You convinced me to go to.
Yes.
And you didn't turn up.
I actually got stuck in the palace. I couldn't leave.
This is becoming a good way out of everything, right? It's a good excuse to get everything.
It's the reality. I couldn't get out. Exactly like yesterday. I was supposed to see you yesterday.
We started a new podcast yesterday. Me and my friend Hatim, who was here, we were like, okay, we got
the time. And I came, everything ready in the middle of the meeting we had there. Yeah. I thought I was going to go there for just half an hour. Yeah. I ended up staying until almost 11 o'clock at night.
At the same time, what a good excuse to have, right?
Yes.
I was at the palace, you know? It's like, it's not a bad excuse to give people.
It's true, believe me. Even to get to my car, I will have to take another car.
To get to the car, right?
Yes.
Dude, what is it about the UAE that's kind of brought you back? Because you're a friend of Dubai now and Abu Dhabi.
Yes. This is an amazing country. I've been coming here since 1996. And the Sheikh Tahnoon came to my academy in 96. When I just opened. It was my brand new academy, my first academy in New York. And he came to train, and I loved the way that he trained. His jiu-jitsu was amazing. We became friends like that. He helped me clean the academy, clean the bathrooms, everything. And he invited me for lunch the next day with his guys. So I went, and we end up friends until today, you know.
Until today, still coming back.
An amazing soul who has motivated jiu-jitsu a lot, has pushed jiu-jitsu forward, made his brothers fall in love with the art, and teach his kids and so on, you know, like now their grandsons are training jiu-jitsu. So this is amazing.
Huh? How like jiu-jitsu is, Abu Dhabi is the capital of jiu-jitsu now, which is a
I
crazy
honestly
thing
believe is the capital of jiu-jitsu
right?
in the world, yeah. We have now 12.5% of the whole population training jiu-jitsu. If it wasn't for COVID, it would be up to 25%.
That's crazy. You're known for being, how to say, the fun uncle in the jiu-jitsu world. No one that I've met has a bad word to say.
Everybody calls me uncle. It's the funniest thing ever.
And you, the way you are, and you've always been like this, but your character and the way you love to teach, even when you don't need to, is amazing.
It's my passion. This is what they say. If you do what you love, you don't have to work one day in your life.
Yep, Confucius.
This is what I love.
This is one of my favorites.
Yes, and you have to understand, whatever I am, if you ask me about jiu-jitsu, it makes my brain spin and I go right away to find an answer and how we can get better on that situation.
It was great.
And it's a tough sport. It's not an easy sport. You know, that's why I try to make as fun as possible to make you wish to come back. It doesn't matter how much you suffer, how much you sweat, how much you go through hell to learn this amazing art. If it's fun, you keep coming back.
Dude, I've got a crazy video that I filmed during ADXC. So I was backstage with Aljamain Sterling. We were getting ready. He was going to have his fight. And you came in. Instantly, you were just giving tips, crazy tips. Do this, open the hand, put it in. And basically, the fun thing about it is not only did we learn, we got choked out before the fight. You know, it was just such a nice experience and you can just tell when people are around you that they just want to, It's like it's really funny. Like I know this is not a comparison, but you know when there's a good comedian in the room,
Yes.
in a comedy, everyone's silent.
Yes.
Nobody's
yes.
saying nothing because they know that they should be listening to every word.
Yes, that
And
they will
that's the
learn
thing-
from
yeah,
that
that's
guy.
the thing with
Yes.
you, and you bring the fun side to it and everything, which is beautiful and amazing, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the position that I was teaching Sterling, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
And
great
I
one. Yeah.
really thought I could help him a lot
Yeah.
on that fight.
But you saw that in the fights, because this is
Yes.
another thing that you've got that's crazy. You see and predict stuff.
Yes.
Like there's been many fights in that you've been involved with on the outside that you've told your student or your teammate, submit him this way,
At
and
this
they
time,
do it. Yeah, and at this time,
this way at this time. When the
before the
clock
fight
hits
even.
this much.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. There was a very famous fight Roger had.
Canada, the one in Canada.
No, there was one, not the Canada one, was another one in America.
Yeah.
And as we get to the walkout, we walking out of the tunnel. I go to him and I say, look, the first clinch you do it on him. He's a very good wrestler. He's gonna he's gonna move his hip back. You're much taller than him. The moment that he moves his hip back and you feel that you're losing the grip, you're gonna throw a knee to his jaw. Roger looked at me, goes, knee? I never threw a knee in my life. I said, this is gonna be the first one. The moment that he moved the hip, he's gonna give a gap, and because of the height difference, your knee's gonna hit his jaw very easy. I'm gonna scream, now! You just toss that knee. He knocked the guy down with that knee.
Dude, that's crazy.
On the first minute.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Even in the... Actually, we'll get to that later because there's things that I want to... The timeline I want to talk to you. One thing that's really inspiring as well is in both directions, your relationship with your father, Hobson. I saw a documentary once and you guys were sitting around the table and he was saying that people are rich in different ways.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And through you, your brothers and your sisters, he can't wait to be old, watching the sunshine, and he'll be content and grateful that he's done the right thing.
Holding the hands of the people that he loved.
Exactly. And with you, the way you admired your father as well, it's kind of like, for me, I have 3 boys. That's something that I would dream for my children, to look at me in that way.
And see you that way, yes.
And see me that way, to have that level of admiration and that level of thingy. And your father went through a crazy journey himself, right? Can we talk a little bit about the beginning with the military
My old
regime?
man was always one of the toughest fighters my family has ever produced. And there's a very famous fight that he was getting his ass kicked. He was getting a beating. His face was all swollen up because he didn't compete for a while. When he came back, he got this very tough guy. And he's going through hell. And my uncle Hito looks at him and says, look, you're not doing well. I'm going to throw in the towel, which means give up. Yeah. My father looked at him and say, if you throw in the towel, I'm going to go straight in the middle of the ring and I'm going to be fully naked and pee right in the middle of the ring. So you better respect me.
Yeah.
So, and I asked my father, say, what did he say after you say that? He realized that he was wrong. So he shut up and I went to do what I had to do. The fight in the end was a draw, you know?
Yeah.
And he never quit.
Wow.
He never quit. This week I received a message from Arthur Vigilio, one of the boys that were raised at the Gracie Academy back then, that became senator and mayor of the Manaus of Amazon.
Yeah.
And he wrote this whole story this week on Twitter.
Wow.
And sent it to me. Your father never disappoint us.
Wow.
You know, he never quit. You know? And it was a thing that he passed to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself quitting. I couldn't see myself tapping. I know if I got caught in a choke, I was going to go to sleep. I know if I get caught in a leg lock, I will need a cast for a couple months. You know, like, guarantee. Because I inherited that from him. And I see the admiration that he had for unique souls like that I couldn't be any different, you know?
And you're the most like him because he was the cheeky one out of the boys then, right? He was the wild one in the family.
Yes.
As well.
As well, I'm a gentleman. I'm almost...
The cameras are on. We can pretend for now.
We can stop lying.
Yeah. But the insane thing is, so at that time, there was, you know, the military was not good in
the military, the government, the military took over the government. And my father fought against them. In reality, looking recently on his last few years, he realized that that was a big mistake. That was a big campaign from the press, from from the colleges, pushing kids to take the Che Guevara side, the Fidel Castro side, the rebellious side, without realizing that that was very negative. The countries that went on that direction actually suffer a lot.
Yeah.
And my father was the president of the Maracanã Stadium during a government that was completely attached to the politics of communism. And the governor was very good friends of my father. But I always read a lot, and I was always watching everything. And I start questioning my father. I say, Father, look how they behave. Look what they do. We are close to them. I can see it. This is not the right things for the country, for the people, for the youth, for the sick people who needs hospitals, who need support. And this should have changed. These people are not good. They are good on their speech, but when they do their actions are not good, are negatives, that end up hurting future generations, that end up hurting our country from growing to be what they should be. Look at where we are now. We are in United Arab Emirates. I was here in 1996. There was nothing here. This was a village. Look what these guys built in 28 years.
Yeah, in less than that, yeah. It's crazy.
28 years, they completely transformed. This is one of the most evolved cities, one of the most evolved countries in the world, one of the safest places on land, on the whole earth. And they build this because they do what is right.
And what's right by the people,
by the people, by the country, and to leave a positive legacy. The Al Nahyan family is amazing. And I think I always said, imagine if you get the Japanese people and you put it in Brazil for 10 years. You're going to have the richest country in the world. Like you throw a seed on the floor, it would grow. Yeah. Anywhere there, you have every weather, you have every soil, everything you could imagine, you have it there. All the riches on earth are there. Yeah. From oil to...
But that's the same thing. Corruption. I mean, Africa, how Africa now?
Africa is in the same situation.
But they have the most minerals and everything is coming from there, right?
They have a lot of oils, and next thing you see, it's all on the family members living in different countries in the near future, and that's how it goes.
And the people
the daughter of Fidel lives in America, and she has more than $1.5 billion on her account.
Dude, you know the funniest thing?
So where does money come from?
The funniest thing I was thinking of, when you look at Lenin, Hitler, all of these people, none of them were from the country that they were in doing the stuff.
Yes.
Right? It's insane when you think, and it's not just like one or two. Yeah. It's almost all of them.
All of them. Yes.
So it's like, wow, how are we doing that?
I was lucky that I could see this in a very early age, and I started influencing my father. I say, Father, in the end, my father understood 100%, and he was completely against the regime. And he regret the fact that he fought the military, And it's a funny thing because he fought them very hard. He was responsible for actions that I cannot even tell. And they still were compassionate of him because of jiu-jitsu.
This is what I was going to say
to
you.
From all his friends that were on that fight, he was the only one that survived.
I was going to say,
they killed every single one of them.
Jiu-jitsu is not only so close to you, but it's the reason you're here.
Yes.
Because the general of the army who they were doing it convinced them because he was a student of your father.
And after the president of Brazil, who's a colonel, was a student of my father too. And I became friends with his son. And it was always through jiu-jitsu, Jiu-jitsu was an amazing tool. And that was the only reason my father was able to live his whole life, was because of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I remember even your father saying, like, I've never done a 9 to 5, like a normal job in my life. Like, I could never appear to the office at 7 a.m. and that, but still, I'm still rich.
He used to teach what he doesn't tell from 6 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night every day on Uncle Helio's Academy. He lived there. He would spend sometimes 6 months without leaving the academy.
Wow.
Stay there. They would bring the food. He would eat in there and stay there. It was him and 5 more other instructors and brothers that he had there.
But to them, it's not work, right?
This is what it is. I don't work. I work because I do some stuff outside jiu-jitsu. But jiu-jitsu, I don't count as work.
Yeah.
It's something that I love, and if I could, I would do the whole day, the whole night.
I guess for you, jiu-jitsu is different to other people, obviously, because you come from the Gracie family, right? And there's a funny story of you preparing for a fight, and there's 5, 6 other guys there. You want to tell the story, and they're complaining about wanting to go home.
No, the reality, Pride,
Yeah.
when we actually walk out on Pride,
Yeah.
they would bring us up and they introduce you first.
Yeah.
You walk down, introduce, say hi to everyone, and then you go back. So we all go in regular clothes or clothes just to be introduced to the people. We had like 75,000 people in the arena. So I'm sitting down and I'm sitting down, everybody's there, all the big guys, and I was the smallest guy there, you know. Suddenly one guy goes, you know, I wish I was home playing video games and doing this with my mom. And the other guy, oh man, me too. I wish I was home cooking some meat and sitting there watching TV, staying with my family and all this. And every single one of them, then when every single one of them that were in my corner on the same side, they look at me. I say, are you guys out of your mind? There is no place on earth that I would rather be than here, fighting for what I like and what I love. And I'm pissed for one reason only, that I'm not the first fight. I would have been the first one to walk out in there. Yeah. You know, when they put me like on the one of the last fights, you know, I said, I can't believe I'm gonna have to wait that long. Yeah. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. So they're all quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. How much pressure is it? Because again, you come, it's a brand, basically, and it's a tribe, right?
You can't ask me about pressure.
No, but I mean,
but why?
How much extra pressure is it being a Gracie than normal
Let
fighter?
Me tell you right now, you can't ask me about pressure. Yeah. Why? What actually forges a diamond?
Yeah. Pressure, yeah.
Pressure. For you to become a diamond, you need pressure. Yeah. I enjoy every second of pressure. Otherwise, I'll be just a simple charcoal sitting on the corner. You know, so the reality is deal with life. Life is a fight. Don't come to life thinking that you're going to be living protected and surrounded by the arms that your mother had you during your childhood. No more. You know, I want to fight. Give me a reason to fight. Give me a reason to break something. You're going to be the happiest motherfucker alive. Yeah. I'll be right there. You know, that drives me to make more, to make people smile more, to make them proud of being my friends. You know, it's the fight that does that. And if you expect to come to life and not fight, you're in the wrong spot, man. You know, it's
I mean, no matter what you're doing as well,
to get out of bed is a fight.
Yeah. Everything.
When you wake up in the morning, you don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's about fighting. All that I'm looking forward is the next fight.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm almost looking for.
I said that to my friend the other day. They were talking about someone, and they were like, all this money he has and blah blah blah. I was like, listen, life has a funny way of, even if you're son of a billionaire, and even if your life's great, your father will die, your wife will die, people around you you're going to lose people. So life will have a way of putting you back on the ground, no matter what you have.
And
there's
make
always
you
realities.
Fight for it.
Yeah.
You know, I have a saying that is, when you were born, there's only one thing you know for sure, with certainty, is that you're gonna die. Everything in between is negotiable.
Yeah.
It's how you negotiate
that
is gonna define who you are, you know, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
But don't expect not to fight, you know.
His mind
it doesn't matter the
yeah.
money that you have, the assets that you have, you know. It may make your life a little easier or not, but you're still gonna have to fight.
But look, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, Notorious B.I.G. said, the more money we come across, the more problems we see, right?
True, it's true.
It's going to come.
It's Mike Tyson used to say, more money you have, more people are working harder to take your money away. That's the reality,
Dude, that's insane. Now, how do you feel about fighters of today? In a sense where you hear them complaining about stuff. And I was with Baz Rutten. He sends his love and everything.
Oh, I love that
He sent
guy.
me some stories we're going to talk about later.
He's the best.
I spoke to him yesterday.
He's turned me in.
Right? So we're talking about, in his episode, about fighters are complaining now. And in your days, there was no rules. Time limits of of the fight could have been like 10-minute rounds, 20-minute rounds.
I finished the guy on the 6th 10-minute round of a no time limit fight. And he outweighed me at least 60 pounds.
That's crazy. That's like movies, right? You know the movies where they have them underground comités
Yes.
and stuff, and it's just like,
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
And I remember when they weighed this guy in, Yuki Kondo. Yuki Kondo, no. Wasn't Yuki Kondo. Was his name runs away from me now. He became the king of pancreation.
Mm.
Wow, tough guy. After he lost, after I choked him, he didn't lose for 32 fights.
Wow.
He became the king of pancreation. No, unbelievable. And I remember when they weighed in, it was the first time that the scale was turned towards the wall. So the guy walk in, boom, weighed himself in, and they say 205. And I remember I look, I said, God, this is a big 205.
Yeah.
And the limit of the weight was 205. I go in 170, and I think I'm huge, you know? And the Japanese said 185 in Japanese, my weight. The guy said, Renzo, they say you were 185. I said, no, 170.
Yeah.
I just saw on the scale, you
They're
know?
trying to make it closer so it doesn't seem like a
wouldn't
big
seem,
deal.
yeah, you know? Yes.
Yeah.
So, boy, I remember when the fight began, he was a monster. He was the first Japanese to win ADCC here in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He beat Saulo Ribeiro, who was the champion,
Yeah.
you know? And I stopped fighting him. I said, this guy cannot be 205.
You can feel it from the first clinch,
I couldn't
right?
move him,
Yeah.
you know? And very tough, very well trained. We went, I said, no. And every time I sit on the corner, they want to give me water. I say, I cannot, no more water because I'm going to have to pee soon.
Yeah.
You know,
He's going to be peeing in the middle of the ring.
I
Just
said,
like
I'm
his
going to
father
have to
said.
pee in my pants. That won't look good, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I may have to stay here the whole night. There was no rounds. So on the 6th round, I actually got him for the first time on the arm in guillotine, and I choked him out. And that was Pride 2. A few years go by, you know, and then this guy goes to Pancrase. He left Pride, went to Pancration, and he became the king of Pancrase in Japan. So a few years later, I'm in Abu Dhabi getting ready to compete. I go weight in, and I did my weight in.
And he notices the scale is facing the wall again. He's
No,
like,
no. This time, this Japanese guy comes, Renzo, gives me a hug, says hi. I go, where do I never forget the face. I say, where do I know this guy from? I say, where do I know? I've seen this guy. And the guy goes in the scale, weights in 205. So, takes his pictures on the scale, boom, moves to the side, and that was the competition that he won. I go, who is this guy? The guy hears you crazy. This is the guy that you fought in Japan.
That's how many fights he's had.
A couple.
60 minutes you were fighting him
But
for.
the problem, I couldn't recognize him at 205.
That's how different he looked, huh?
He looked like a different person, completely different. Kikuta, his name, Kikuta.
Yeah.
And he was the first Japanese to win the ADCC, you know, and he did unbelievable fights, and he became the king of Pancrase. He lost to Yuki Kondo, who I beat on my last fight.
In the last one.
When I fought at one, I fought Kondo, and I was able to beat him on the last fight.
That's crazy. What do you think? There's a lot of people now who are saying that, and especially coming after ADXC, they're saying that watching gi jiu-jitsu is just boring now. It's just not the way that no gi is the way forward. How do you feel about that?
It's about how you see it. You have to understand one thing. What made jiu-jitsu popular? When I was growing up, I couldn't make money with gi jiu-jitsu. I could teach, make my monthly living, no problem, but I couldn't build wealth. The world didn't have jiu-jitsu. It was beginning. Then the Gracies began leaving the country, going to America, going everywhere, teaching in Japan, teaching in Europe. Jiu-jitsu grew for what it is today. Today, a jiu-jitsu champion doesn't need to fight. You get the champion and you say, let's go to MMA. He goes, how much money am I going to make? Oh, this is a joke. I'm going to have to pay coach, trainers, managers, and I make more money by doing just jiu-jitsu. The guy goes do a live tour in Europe, walks away with 60, 80,000 euros, which he would probably not be making until he has 20, 25 fights on MMA. You know, so this is The difference, we create something that they can make a very good living off it. They open a school in America, they open a school in Europe or outside the country. It really flourishes and it generates very well for them. It's like anybody who has a school in America today makes $20,000 a month. So you're talking about 240,000. It's the salary of a doctor. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy when you think about it, actually.
Yeah, but man, believe it, I know everything about this.
Yeah.
You know? So many doctors make half of that.
Yeah.
You know? So when you start thinking, and this is not even a good school, a very good school will make much more. So the guy goes, why am I going to go to MMA? Have to stop everything, live for training, you know, be selfish, because the first rule of a good MMA fighter, he's selfish. You know, he's just play for himself. You know, it's different from the regular grappling jiu-jitsu, the gi jiu-jitsu. So the organizations grew. They have the competition. It's a funny thing because I go to the competitions and I don't see crowd to watch because they didn't build something commercial. That's why everybody think jiu-jitsu is boring and grappling with no gi, it's better because they investing to promote the no gi.
Yeah.
I have athletes, black belt, that don't train with the gi. I have very good guys who not even train. They don't even know how to manage a gi situation.
Wow.
And they're very good black belts.
How are we giving out belts to no gi people? That's always interested me. Like someone from, obviously, you know, Eddie Bravo and 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. How are they judging this? Because I've heard of some people going...
My dear friend, there's only one way to judge.
That's it.
If you tap,
Yeah.
you know, if you tap in everybody, they will make sure you got yourself a belt.
Yeah.
That's the reality, yeah. I was lucky because I always loved, because of Hollies, I always loved no gi. So I really worked to make no gi big. And I always loved it. And I remember I had problems to find partners to train no gi. So I would go train the whole night with gi. And when it was close to 9 o'clock, when it was time to close, I would ask someone, let's take the gi off and roll. And I would do that every day. I always loved the no gi training because I thought it was more realistic towards MMA. That was my goal. I say, once I get all the titles that I can in jiu-jitsu with the gi, I want to go to MMA. I want to do Vale Tudo back then. And that's what I did.
But you knew that from a young age, right? And we're talking like 5, 6 years old.
Since when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
I knew I was going to do that. You know, my goal, my whole life was to fight MMA. My whole life.
And is that just from being... I mean, everyone in your family is a fighter, right? So do you think that had a lot to do with it?
I believe today I look, and you see like how kids go to cartoons, to magazines, to DC Comics to find their heroes. I had them inside my house. So I watched what they did, how they thought, how they fought. I watched their fights. I was in the arena. When I was 16 years old, I was at Rickson's fight against Zulu.
Wow.
And we had the other guys, Pinduka fighting, and I had a small bag in the locker room with my shorts, my knee braces, and my mouth guard. If they needed, I would jump inside there. And I was 16 years old. You know, it's like, how many kids you've seen like this? You know? So that was my goal in life to do it.
But your father, when he was fighting, he was young as well, right?
His first fight, he was 16.
He fought against the capoeirista. That's
16 years old, yeah. I have the pictures. Yeah. 16 years old there.
That's
crazy. Old man. And my father was half of my size.
Yeah.
You know? And back then there was no size, no, you know?
No weights, nothing.
Yes.
So do you think that they got it easier now in UFC and these places?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody knows more. They have knowledge of the fighting. They have strategies. But if you look, very rarely you see very high quality jiu-jitsu in there. You know, because they are not, if they reach that level, like they're going to do something else.
Yeah.
You know? They say, well, I'm going to go to this. I have to be 5, 6 years giving my life to this to make the money that I can make every month.
Wow,
you know?
that's crazy.
What
are your views on Gordon Ryan?
Gordon is amazing, man.
Would you say he's the best ever no-gi jiu-jitsu practitioner?
To say someone is the best ever, you denying all the other generations. Why? Each time.
That's like comparing Tyson to somebody who fights now.
Yes, it's different because we are constantly evolving. You know, we are constantly getting better. So how are you going to compare me now with my father 80 years ago, 70
Yeah.
years ago? You know, it's a different knowledge. I remember when Triangle came to be part of Jiu-Jitsu, 1978,
Wow.
at Figueiredo de Magalhães in Copacabana. Before that, every Jiu-Jitsu guy would pass guard on his knees. Then
Wow.
Triangle came, the whole game changed. You need to posture, otherwise you'll be choked.
Yeah.
So I was there. This is the beauty. Right now I'm 56.
Yeah.
The beauty of my age is that I had the chance to see from the beginning to what it is now. I had the contact with every generation. I had the chance to see how everybody trained. And I was a guy that they didn't feel threatened by, so they would really expose everything that they thought on their heads and what they thought with their body in terms of jiu-jitsu, you know? So I had access to information that I really, today I look back, I say I was very lucky to be born in 1967 and to have the chance to interact with my whole family the way that I did.
That's why you have so much vision when you're watching it as well. It's like, you know, in football, they say the running off the ball.
Yes.
Like it's putting yourself in the right position, even when you don't have the ball, knowing that the ball is going to go there after.
Yes,
right?
yes. It's a funny thing. My mother always said that I was born old.
Yeah.
I was never a child. I was always different. I always look after all my younger brothers. I could take care of them. I get up in the middle of the night and check to see if they were tucking bed, you know? Yeah. So it's a different way to see life. I was born old, you know, and that was a privilege because I could see things that is, I have a very good picture of Roger on my phone. And that picture I love because that shows the big difference between me and any other coach. Roger was fighting Cacareco. After 20 minutes of fight, they end up close to my corner where I was. The moment that the ref breaks, I run to Cacareco, to his opponent. And I go to him, Cacareco, you're doing a great fight. Come on, man, get up and let's put up a show. Yeah. You have 1 minute to rest and 10 more minutes with him. I remember when I said that, he was getting up all excited. When I say you have 1 minute to rest and 10 more minutes with him, he sat down again.
Games, you fucked with his mind. Yeah, yeah.
So on that moment, Rickson, Kira, Hillion, everybody took Roger to the corner and they're telling him what to do. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do this. He's working this. You gotta do this. I come straight at him and I go, understand one thing. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna ask you one thing, and you're gonna have to do it. Do you understand that? He goes, yes. Roger is very shy. He doesn't talk. You know. I said the moment that the ref is gonna look at you first and say, "Are you ready?" You're gonna jump out of the chair. Clap your hands and say, fuck yeah, I'm ready, let's go. Yeah. And run to the middle of the mat. He looked at me like, what kind of direction is this? You know, what is he talking about? Everybody look at me. Rickson, Kira, everyone look at me like, what? What kind of direction is that? Yeah. I say, do you promise you're going to do that? He's going to look at you now, look. He's going to look at you. The guy goes, are you ready? I say, go. He gets up. He claps the hand, but he can't say a word because he's so shy. And he goes. The moment that he goes, I bounce my head like this. And I look between his coaches. I see him looking like, at Roger.
Sake, yeah.
And then he goes, no. No more. And that moment, I celebrate. So I have the picture on my phone here. I'll show you after. It's just me celebrating the victory on the arena and the whole stadium packed, looking, trying to understand what's going on. And I remember when they gave Roger the victory, Rickson looked at me and goes, damn, only now I understand what you did. Yeah. You know?
So you were beating people even when you weren't fighting. You were beating people as well.
You know? And he goes, this was brilliant. So this is my favorite pictures. Yeah. I'm going to soon make a painting and put it at the
That's it. I want one of those pictures, bro.
For sure, bro.
I'm going to get it, bro.
For sure.
Dude, that's absolutely insane. Let's talk about the brawl in the stadium. when you remember that?
Which one? Which one of
This
them?
is so you, bro.
Oh.
Which one? There's like 15. There's one when the other spectators were kicking you in the head.
Oh,
while
that's
you're doing
against
it.
Eugênio Tadeu.
Yeah.
Luta Livre.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Well, that was a good one. That was one of the best. You have to understand, that fight, I had a problem with my partner. I need to make money to pay the lawyers in America. So I could get freedom from him, you know? And I set up 3 fights in, I believe it was 45 days or it was one fight every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
One in Brazil, one in Japan, and then Abu Dhabi. And when I get there, we're gonna set up security, do the whole 9 yard. The guy end up saving money on security. There's no security. The Luta Livre used to be connected to the ghettos. So they invaded. The ghetto people invaded the arena and they surround the cage.
Wow.
Like dominating, intimidating everybody. But there was only a few fights between Luta Livre and Jiu-Jitsu, and the main one was me. So the moment that the everything began heated up and everybody started getting insecure, they came to me in the locker room and they say, Renzo, if you want to walk away, you walk away. We're going to pay you in full. You don't need to go in there. The situation is very bad. They surrounded the cage. The security is afraid. They're moving away. They don't go close to them. And those guys have guns. They have, you know. I got cut. Someone cut me on the cage, you know, when my back was on the cage. And I go to him, my man, just do me one favor. There's no chance I'm not walking in there. Just lock the cage.
Yeah.
It's going to be me and him and the ref.
Yeah.
And the ref maybe save him, you know. So I went, the fight is going. As it's happening, they are kicking me in the head. They cut my back. Someone sliced with a knife or something my back on the cage. And I remember as they hitting me, I look at them, I say, my man, my mother used to hit me harder than this. You know, I say, I can't believe you hit that weak, you know. And we keep going. At that moment, I saw one guy that kept hitting me a lot. It was the main guy that was kicking me a lot. So they say, okay, guys, they pull us apart. I move my back towards him, and I see him here, and he puts the face inside the octagon, and he's cursing at me. You know, I go, are you ready? Are you ready? I punched him right and broke his nose. The moment that I hit him, he fell high and got him and beat him. Then the whole place broke loose. It was like 400 people fighting at the same time. And during that, they broke the support of the lights. The lights came down. So it was hot like it was hell. You know, the lights were like right here on top of our head.
While you're fighting,
Yeah, and very hot, you know, and finally someone turned the lights off because probably that place was going to catch on fire. And I can hear the bullets, people shooting at each other, you know, they trying to run.
But I'm close to this choke, so I'm going to keep...
Yes. And my father came in and he goes, let's get out of here, son, let's get out. I said, no. I'm the last one to leave the ring. I'll be here until the end. And then my opponent, they took my opponent, they took everybody out. I said, now I can leave. You know? And that's how it went. So it was one of the most amazing memories and days in my life. I keep it in my heart with a lot of love.
Dude, that's crazy. You do realize that the things that you're saying is not normal, right?
For most why be normal?
For most people.
The question is, why be normal?
Yeah.
I try everything in life, but be normal, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I told you in the beginning. Yeah. Life is about fighting. Give me a fight. You know, don't think I'm going to be afraid of that fight or if I'm going to chicken out. Chance is zero.
So on that point, and this happens a lot with athletes, especially after they finish fighting and everything, life changes a lot, right? So before we get to after you retired from fighting, when you retired? You haven't retired now? You're still fighting?
Are you out of your mind? I'm going to fight again this year.
No way.
At 57. Believe me, I'll fight for free anywhere.
You pay me, I'll fight for free.
Yes. The last fight I did, you know how much I asked to Chatri?
Yeah.
He goes, how much you want to make, Renzo? Yeah. I go, how much I want? $1.
No way.
He goes, no, Renzo, I can't pay you $1. Give me $2. We're good. It took him almost 4 months for him to be able to put money in my account.
Oh, wow.
I say, brother, I don't need. I did this because I love, you know? And
That's
I thank you
crazy.
for this amazing memory. Shatri is an amazing soul, you know?
That's just crazy.
Uh,
So, okay, I'll take back the retiring because we're not doing that.
we do
The
one
knee
more this
surgery.
year. I had both knee
Yeah.
surgery. I bought
The,
both ACLs.
the first injury was how long out? 18 months?
The first injury was during my fight with Carlos Newton in Pride.
Would it pop?
I went to jump and the knee went loose. Then it became like, it looked like a watermelon. I came back, I found out it was completely torn my ACL. Then I had the surgery. It took me 12, 13 months to
Okay,
get back.
now 12, 13 months in the mind of a mortal person, not somebody.
It's a forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So how do you, Renzo, who again likes to fight like he likes to breathe, how do you mentally go through that period
That
where
period,
you can't fight?
you have to understand one thing. I live my life with an intensity that I can't explain. My average sleeping night is 4 hours. That's my average. When I oversleep, it's 4:30. I can do this for 9, 10 days, and then I sleep one whole night, 8 hours.
Yeah.
Then I can go back again to that. And it's a funny thing. Doesn't matter. My body wakes up and he want to run, he want to read. And it's a funny thing. I have a library at home. And my wife forbade me to buy any more books. I cannot buy any more books. And I said, why not? She goes, you don't read them anymore.
Yeah.
I start laughing. I said, I never see you reading anymore. I say, my love, it's
You're
because
asleep.
you were sleeping.
I'm reading at 4:30
You
in the
know,
morning. Yeah, yeah.
sometimes I'm reading with my phone. I put the light of my phone and I read. You know? And what I did, what I'm gonna tell you now, probably is gonna get me in trouble. But I found out that my bookshelves are pretty wide.
You've been doubling up on books.
Yes. So I put one book behind each other. So I'm almost double the amount of
Nice.
books that I have in my house.
I'm
And
trying to
both
think
in
if I
English
could
and
do the same
Portuguese.
with the frames in my house. There must be a way, right?
You just put the bigger books in the
Spinning one.
front.
But with the memorabilia, I need to
Yes,
get double
you
frames
double
back and
frame,
front,
yes,
right?
yes.
And spin them.
You know?
Ah, see?
And that
Still
was
learning,
able
bro.
to do it. Yes, yes, yes.
So,
So I'm always reading. You know, I'm always studying something interesting or I'm working on something. It's like today I have the biggest schools in the world. And this is because I study every aspect of the business, of how to do it, how it has to be done. I picked the brain of Hollis when I was growing up. I live right across from the corridor from him, and all his dreams of how to build one day the perfect academy. You know, he told me what he want to do it, and that inspired me to work, to accept wrestling, judo. I'm a black belt in judo, boxing, kickboxing, everything should have been incorporated to make you a better fighter. And that was Holly's vision. And I lived that for a long time. I had the opportunity to get his kids to live with me in New York and learn. Today, they all have schools, they all have kids, you know, they all doing very well. And they are huge representatives of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you know?
that's crazy. It's like the Gracie family pretty much has a don't worry attitude to life. We know what you're going to do. Like, you know, most people are like, okay, I need to grow up now. I need to figure out what I'm doing. What should I study and da. But if you're born as a Gracie, you know, normal doctors, they slap the baby on the ass and go. You know, the Gracies,
But
they get
you
the
have to
with a
understand
belt.
one thing, yes. But he slapped the babies in the ass if I'm not there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's in trouble.
The Gracie babies, they come out, they slap their own ass, and they get ready to go, bro. That's the way it is.
Yes.
But okay, but I understand you were training your mind, but obviously you must have had an intense need for training your body, right?
Yes,
As well.
I was the one who trained them all. I was the one who worked out them.
But during the injury,
I was the guy who didn't have. My daughter did recently my DNA study, and she goes, Dad, I'm even more proud of you. I say, why? You have no athletic abilities on your DNA. You don't have it. And I go, I knew that because I couldn't kick a ball from here to half of the field.
wow.
I couldn't run. I couldn't outrun nobody. The girls would beat me in the running. You know, but I say, it doesn't matter. I would train every day. I would run every day. When I was training for this last fight, I would run every day 7 miles.
Wow.
And I would leave my house. The first thing that I would do was 12 minutes uphill to begin the run. And I remember one day a cop pulled me over in my town and he goes, Renzo, how can you do that running every day? It didn't matter the weather. He goes, it's brutal. I know what you do every day. You know, and I lift weights a lot. I was one of the first Gracies to lift a lot of weight.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was crucial to make me stronger.
I remember there's always videos of you going, who's leaner?
Yes.
Don't
Remember?
fuck around.
Yes.
It's clear, it's
and
me.
I was able to get very strong.
Yeah.
I could go in the gym on the pulling machine like this, 6 plates each side. I could do 10 times. And I was a lightweight guy pulling that. I remember I would go in the gym and work out. The big steroid guys, they would look and go, God damn, man, just when you open the door, go light. You know, otherwise you're going to rip the door out.
Yeah.
You know, they couldn't lift that weight, you know, and it's a very, I could do 37 pull-ups, you know. For some reason, you always do this, Rafael. Huh?
This is where the Brazilian, porra!
Porra!
Hey, porra! So I noticed that you get quite emotional when you talk about childhood.
Yes.
Why is that?
It's great memories, man. It's a life that I can't explain, you know. I knew love in a way that nobody knows. Porra, bicho, I'm gonna give you a Chinese
so
phone.
guys, this is really cool. In this episode, we're gonna show you some of Renzo's jiu-jitsu now. However, please.
He can help. He can help.
You can choose the choke. It's fine.
You see, the first thing I did was turn all my phones off.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I apologize.
That's okay.
You know, and it was moments that I can't explain because on my mother's side, there was this crazy Lebanese people.
That's me.
That was different from everything else in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then there was the Gracies in one side and the Cimarran on the other side, the Simões.
Yeah.
And these two were able to build a house that I can't explain. It was me, Ralph, Rai, and Flavia. We were different, you know, our way of seeing life, our way of giving. We are we belong to a tribe. You know?
Wait, your mother was Lebanese?
Of course, Cimarran. Yeah, my grandfather, my grandmother.
That makes so much sense
Yeah,
now.
of course.
I understand now. It makes so much sense.
You don't understand. There's a different...
Yeah.
Yeah. And when
Even the look now, when I look at you, I can see it.
You see, when Sheikh Tarnoon took me here, was one of the greatest gifts ever because I could see where everything came from. Everything that I loved, everything that I respect, all the love that I received came from this amazing culture.
Wait, please tell me you don't speak Lebanese.
No, I don't.
Oh, I was about to say, because that would have been the funniest shit ever for me now. If Renzo started speaking Lebanese to me now, I would shit in my pants, bro, honestly.
I cannot even curse. I should have learned the curse first, Not
learn.
even that I know. But it was a different concept, the concept of family. Every weekend, we had to go have lunch with our grandmother that would last from noon to 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, 100%.
Lunch.
They feed everyone, bro. They feed everyone.
Yes.
You know, when
the
I was
whole
growing
family
up,
there.
When I was growing up, my friends used to always be like, after we play football, after everything, they'd be like, let's go to your house and just chill out outside. Because my mom would say, guys, you want a sandwich? And they'd be like, yes. She'd go, don't ask me how. In 20 minutes would come out with 8 different dishes, bro. Like what inab and rice and this and this. And then I was like, you motherfuckers, that's why you always want to come to my house, because you know my mom's going to feed you. And always because I grew up in London. So obviously our toilet had the shatafa. You know, you can clean your ass with the water. So I was like, why all the time when my friends need to shit, they want to go to my house, bro? Like
because the water.
Yeah, because they never experienced it. They don't have that there. So they were
Let me tell you a story. I have a grandson.
Yeah.
So this week before I came here, I go open the door, the bathroom is closed. I say, who's in there? He goes, it's me, Grandpa. I say, what are you doing? I'm taking a shit, Grandpa. I go, how are you going to clean yourself? On the sink, Grandpa. I go, hell yeah.
The old school.
He's 8 years old. I say he learned already.
Dude, it's amazing, man.
So it was different, like the way that our family was and the love that we receive and the warmth was different from everything. And I could only see this when I finally came here.
Yeah.
And then I see the difference of how Arabs see see life, see family, see friendship, you know? It was unique.
Bro, I'm sitting here now, porra, everything's making sense to me now. His humor, the way he is, it's like, the two Brazilian and Lebanese together?
Yes,
Because
yes.
the Lebanese, these motherfuckers, I don't know how they did it. There's never been a place in the world that I've been where there isn't Lebanese there.
Yeah.
Usually they're mafia and
You
they're
have
taking
to understand
over.
one thing.
Yeah.
In Brazil,
Yeah.
we have 10 million Lebanese. It's more than Lebanon.
Wow.
It's almost double than Lebanon. You know?
But are they like everywhere else? The mafia and all this stuff? Or
Of
they're
course,
cool?
what do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think?
Yeah.
Well,
Like I went to Australia, bro.
yeah.
I went to Australia. I went traveling around
There
the
is
world.
streets there that they only speak
The
Arabic.
Yeah. I went to Australia. I was traveling around the world. I went to 19 countries in a row, non-stop, 2 years. When I got to Australia, my friend said to me, listen, just don't say you're Lebanese. I was like, why, bro? It was in Sydney. He was like, bro, the Lebos out here, bro, they get a bad rep, bro. They run all the mafia, all
Yeah.
the drugs, all the other shit. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just do it. It's crazy.
It's different.
So, childhood. How was it with you and your brothers, bro? Because you guys were
It was
all over the
unbelievable.
place,
It's-
right?
it's-
Highan was
Yeah,
nuts as well, right?
Haya
God rest
was a
his soul.
kid.
Yeah, yeah,
Haya was 7 years younger than me.
Yeah.
He was the youngest.
yeah.
You know, and I look after him the whole time. How Haya was, it became very wild, very intense, but he was the youngest one. Like when we moved to Baja, there was nothing there. You know, the first week we moved into Baja, someone killed a woman, raped her, and choked her with the belt and killed her next to our house. You know, it was a completely
Wow.
desert area, and people would come, workers would come from outside, so very dangerous people. So our wall was very, very small, very short. People could jump at any time, so I couldn't relax. I would be sleeping on the roof with a shotgun, watching the house the whole night. You know, until Half could grow a little and he could replace, and the other brothers, you know, that could, until my mother raised the walls and were able to put the dogs. We had Napolitan Mastiffs to take care of the house. Many times the dog got people inside the house, you know. We got people inside the house a few times, you know, and it was very, very unique moments.
Yeah.
Very
Can you imagine that?
educational.
That is the worst house to break into ever.
Yes.
Like the worst, bro. If you're gonna break into anywhere, don't break into the,
Believe
the
me,
Gracie house.
they
bro.
never came back.
Yeah, right.
That house became famous
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the house of the crazy
Yeah,
people.
yeah. It's like the
You
haunted,
know,
the haunted
yes.
house in the movies. At the top of the
Yes.
hill, there's a haunted house.
Yeah.
It's like that one. It's just like, yeah.
I
yeah,
remember one time the cop came and the guy is laying on the sidewalk outside the house. The cop came and go, Renzo, if by accident someone dies, just put him across the street. We will go collect the body and we won't attach to you
He
guys.
was, see, he's like
Yes.
you. He had the foresight. He
Yes.
knew. He was politely saying,
Yes.
when someone dies,
Yes.
like this
Put
is
it
what
on
you need
the
to
other
do.
side. I
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
okay. You know, but it was a funny thing. Recently, I went there with my son. And then I stopped on the place that used to be a house. It was a big 10-bedroom house. We had employees there. We had a body shop for surfboards, you know. So I come in and I'm telling my son the stories. And he goes, Dad, you always exaggerate.
Yeah.
He couldn't be like that. You know, as I'm talking to him and he's making fun of me that I was talking too much, one older guy from the building X sees me. He goes, rings every apartment and says, Renzo is here.
Wow.
So more than 30 people come down and they all come to hug me. All the neighbors.
Yeah.
It's Renzo, look, he's alive. We always thought he was going to die at 18 and he's still here.
Wow.
And my son is looking.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they start telling all the stories that I just told. My son,
Wow.
they're telling all the stories. Your father did this. You know, we finished with the crime where we live.
Yeah.
There was no drugs. Used to have perverts. They used to come on the beach and masturbate looking at the woman there. There was no sidewalk, you know. So it was hell. My mother is on the beach, my aunts, my cousins, my sisters. So we begin cleaning everything, you know. We had
So
one
the
kid.
Gracies were a jiu-jitsu company and a cleaning company at the same time, bro.
And one of my guys had a sewage truck.
Yeah.
You know those trucks that suck
yeah,
the
yeah.
sewage? So I would call him and say, I need a deliver. He would go like this. You want a commercial or a residential one? I go, bring me a commercial. The commercial used to have a layer of fat like this wide.
Yeah.
I say, bring a commercial. So the kid would go by bike and he would see all the
To look at where
perverts,
they are, yeah.
how many they were. and he would point at us. So we would come with the truck. I would come on my fours behind the car. They normally, because it's hot, they'll keep the window open. Well, I would jump inside the car, grab the car key, and pull it out. The guy normally had his pants down to his knees, you know.
So he could stop.
Right next comes Ralph and the other kids with the rose, put it inside the car, and they turn it on. It took exactly between 8 and 15 seconds to have shit all the way to the window. That car nothing could be done anymore with that car. And that was done many times.
Yeah.
You know? Then we finished with the perverts. Drug dealing, because I went to school with all the guys from City of God. And they became the drug dealers. At 23 years old, all of them died.
Wow.
You know, amazing kids. But they had no option.
No
they
choice,
live in the ghetto. The only option in life for them was to become a drug dealer. That's the only way that they thought they could find their freedom and that independence, you know, unfortunately. And unfortunately, jiu-jitsu wasn't that big back then. We didn't have
For them to
jiu-jitsu
take them out of it, yeah.
Gracie Barra was created much later. Otherwise, I would have put their kids with us there. That's what I did on the Gracie house. Any kid with drug problem, with alcohol problem, we would put in the house. They would live with us. We put them to do the Gracie diet, to train jiu-jitsu, to work out, to learn how to surf. And then they became independent after. I was teaching a seminar in, I think was in the middle of the United States. And then I tell the story about the house. And then one guy, black belt, raised his hand and goes, I say, yeah, no, I just want to say that everything you say, it's true. I say, how the hell do you know it's true? He goes, Renzo, I was this kid that he lived with us when he was 11. And he had an alcohol problem at 11.
Wow.
You know? And in Brazil, you can buy alcohol at any age. It doesn't matter. They will sell to you. They don't care. You know? And that kid was drinking. And I said, no, man, you come with us. And I made him go to jiu-jitsu and everything. Now he has a school in America. He goes, I was that kid. I said, damn, man, I can't believe.
That's incredible.
He goes, and I want to thank you. I have a school now in the United States, and I support my family. All my kids train, you know.
That must be really emotional
It's
and,
the
and
most
prideful for you.
rewarding thing in your life.
Yeah.
You know,
To
it's
teach.
like a lot of people look down on themselves. I cannot. Because I can be walking in the middle of nowhere, in anywhere in the globe. The guy comes to me and says, I owe my life to you. You inspire me to stop doing all the wrong things that I was doing and to become who I am today. I want to thank you, Renzo. The other day was a FedEx, a UPS employee walking the street in New York. He came and hugged me for like 5 minutes. He goes, Renzo, thank you for everything. You saved my life. Thank you, Pooh. I love you, brother. I love you, you know, yeah. This was the other day. It was funny because there was a woman holding the door for me to walk into a building. And when he looked at me, the way that he looked at me, I did this already. Yeah. And that happened. And she kept looking for the whole time.
Yeah.
She goes, I still can't understand what's going on. I say, it's very complicated.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much did jiu-jitsu ethics translates into real life raising kids? Because like there's a very famous poem that I know that you know from Khalil Gibran called On Children.
I love
It's a beautiful poem.
Yeah.
You know this one, right?
Of course.
Please recite it. Please recite it for me. Please
I'm
recite
the bull.
Yeah.
Your kids are not yours, yeah?
Yeah. It's a beautiful poem.
Yes. And it's the reality is our kids will live in a time that we won't be there. You know, when they really grown up and we probably will be too old. Or, you know, they're going to see the world in a different place. Imagine now a cell phone. If you try to explain that to me,
bro,
on the 80s.
We didn't, it was a surprise to us who was calling.
Yes.
Like we would be like, shall I answer this or not? Because I kind of got to go now. It could be anyone.
The funniest thing ever, Hickson still don't accept it. Hickson leaves his phone. I say, you're leaving your phone in the car. Yes, I need to be without this thing for a while. you know? But it's how everything evolves so quick, you know? And I was lucky because I accept everything. I just don't hit the things with all the fingers or 2 fingers, only one. I just go like this.
Yeah, but that's because
I'm old school.
I was speaking to Baz Rutten and he told me why this is. is because you were beating someone up while tweeting at the same time.
We did that a few times.
That's why he only uses one hand, because he needs the other one, bro.
Yeah. We do it sometimes. Yeah, we have to do it. It's a very funny thing. It happened a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was the famous one that I was actually leaving a club, and I gave all my money as a tip because they didn't let me pay for nothing. And I have a few friends with me. I got them drinks and food, and everything was free. So I gave all the money that I had to the people working there. And when I get out, I couldn't, the ATM machine, there was two guys drunk. One put the card, the other one pressed cancel, and they wouldn't, and I wanted money to get a cab to go to my car, and I say, when I know something, I'm going to walk. When I cross the street, two guys start following me, and I say, I can't believe.
Every time I hear these stories, I just think the misfortune of the guys who don't know who they're following.
But it was a very interesting situation. So as I'm walking, I say, I don't have money. What those guys are going to steal it? And I look, I had a cheap watch too. Normally I have a good watch. This was a cheap watch, $200 one. And then I go, if they ask for my sneakers, and that was the only thing that I was valuing that day, was these sneakers. There was a gift from a friend that I love it. And I said, no, if they ask for the sneakers, I'm going to have to fight back. Otherwise, and then they keep, give me a cigarette. And they're walking half a block behind me. And I said, don't smoke. And I'm sending the tweet. I said, I can't believe I'm going to be robbed in New York. I came from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro.
Give me a cigarette, I don't smoke.
And the guy goes, give me a cigarette. I go, I don't fucking smoke.
It's like that video. What's your name?
Yes,
Tony.
yes.
Fuck you,
Fuck
Tony.
you, Tony. Yes. Fuck you too. And this is going for like 3 floor blocks. Then when I turned, I saw them start running, to reach me. They were half a block away from me. And I say, okay, guys, I'm going to have to stop now because I think they're going to try to rob me now. Let me see how this turns out. Then I put the phone in my pocket, and then they come, 2 guys. The first one came very aggressively, and I'm looking to see the knife or the gun. But he should have at least a Swiss knife to make things more interesting, And when I look, they don't have it. They came just to muscle. One guy was bigger than me, and the other one was my size. As the guy comes close, he grabs me and he goes to my pocket. My wallet I carry on the front pocket on the right side. My phone goes on the left. So he's reaching here where my phone is, and I'm looking for his partner to see if he had a gun or a knife. At that moment, the other guy comes and tries to reach for the wallet. He has no knife, no.
Yeah.
So I hit him with a left hook and a straight, right on the nose. He fell, the first one. And then I jump on the second. But that kid should have been an athlete. He takes off running. I was able to touch his shirt, but I couldn't hold him. He escaped.
Did you see the anger in his face?
Boy,
the disappointment that he didn't get it?
I remember touching the shirt, but I couldn't lock it up, He took off running. I go, damn. And then I pull the phone and I go, I'm calling 911 and the police is coming. It's bullshit. I'm putting the camera. I put the camera, I turn around and I film him. I film the guy. I say, my man, you came to rob me? The guy, no, I want a cigarette. You know what I found out later? That's how they rob you in New York. They ask you for 2 things. A cigarette or $1. Give me $1. Give me $1 now. Give me a cigarette. And then they go in your pockets. So if you end up in court, you say, no, I was asking for a cigarette. And normally the honest person won't lie. He was saying, give me a cigarette. So that's a way for them to get away.
The loophole.
Yes. So I say, no, I was trying to get a cigarette, papi. I say, papi, you trying to rob the bad guy, I said to him. So
you need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So then I put a beating on him, a very bad beating on him. And during that beating, I explained very clearly. I said, I live on this area here. This is where my academy is. I said, I don't want to see you here anymore. Go find Jesus. Go to the church. Start working.
Mm.
I don't want to see you roaming the streets anymore. And I'm always here. So I finished the beating, you know, his nose was broken. I say, you walk that way. And I went to get my car. I see him walking, and it was easy to spot him because he kept the nose up and he was holding the nose like this, you know? I got the car, I go around, and I follow him 1 block ahead, and I see, because I know he's gonna meet the other one.
Yeah.
So I follow him for the whole time. I go almost at the 10th Avenue. Then I go on the next one, I turn, I park the car, and I wait. When I'm on the corner, I see a guy looking at the corner like this. And I go, that's the guy. I park the car, I come through on the dark, you know. When I'm getting close to him, he walks forward. So he gets out of my sight.
Yeah.
I sprint. When I turn, oh, that was the funniest scene ever. He had 1 foot on the floor, on the curb, 1 foot up in the air, and he's trying to see his friend coming from on the next block. They probably set up to meet. They had any problem happen. So he's looking. When I turn, I'm already on him, and he can't sprint anymore. So I choked him standing right away, and he was out, you know? Then I scare him a lot, you know, and I was very clear to him that I didn't want to see him on the air anymore, you know, because this is where I live. This is where I'm always there. If I see you here, I'm going to finish the job, you know. So then I jumped in the car and I left. I was gone. The next day, I have the police chief calling me, Renzo, you crazy? This thing is everywhere.
No way.
I say, what? The Twitter, you know, because I was
you
tweeting.
tweet. Yeah.
Yes. This is everywhere. People are calling me. I already told every police station, if they show up to file a complaint against you, we're going to arrest them, and then you come.
Oh, wow.
You know, you come to the police. I said, no problem. But I say, I don't believe they're going to show up.
Yeah.
I did a good job. They're going to church on Monday. This week, they'll be the whole week on church. The funniest thing is throughout the whole week, I receive more than 20 buckets of flowers and boxes of chocolate from people that get robbed by them.
No, wow.
And by the description and the picture and everything, they knew exactly
Who it was.
who they were and how that happened. They tried to rob Danielle Gracie's wife, both of them. And she resisted. One of them threw a bottle of beer empty that missed her head for this much.
Wow.
You know? So that's when you have to believe in karma. That moment,
Yeah.
God say, give these guys to Renzo.
Let me send one of my angels.
Yes. And that is a very funny.
It was the angel of death, but still an angel.
Yes, still. He may be dark, but still an angel.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly,
yes.
Wow.
You know?
We need to talk about who they used to call the Gracie killer.
Who is that?
Sakuraba.
Sakuraba, great guy.
Amazing.
Great soul, yes.
But
he was the first Japanese to break the average.
yeah.
You know, he was able to control the fight and fight very smart. I always say he was the Gracie version of the Japanese.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
What were your views internally about him? I mean, in the conversations, not on the, you know, but between each other, between yourselves. Were you like, Porra, this guy's, he's got to go,
no,
bro?
the reality, we think, for us, everything is a challenge. It's like, there's no fear on us. You know, I can fight him 3 times in one day.
Yeah.
Every day for a month if it's necessary. You know, when I fought Yuki Kondo, it was supposed to be him. He pulled out. He said, no, I'm not going with Renzo again. You know? But again, was a very worth opponent. I have all my respects for him. You know? Halleck ended up beating him. Remember, Halleck fought him,
for sure.
who was younger.
Hoist fought him the most, right? Hoist fought him the most times.
Hoist fought him, Hoyler fought him, and I fought him. You know?
What is it, do you think, about him that he found the cheat codes?
Man, you have to understand there is many things involving inside the business. One of the worst things you could ever do is leave America to fight in Pride 3 days later.
Because of the time of the flights and all this stuff, yeah.
On the 3rd day, I couldn't get out of bed. You know, there was many aspects. If show me a Japanese the shine coming from Japan to here.
Yeah.
Show me one.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different. There was one defeat that I had. I beat the shit out of the guy the whole fight.
Yeah.
And they gave the victory to him. I say, why did you guys give him the victory? Because you spit on him. I said, the motherfucker's not fighting. He's running away from the fight the whole time. I'm fighting alone.
Yeah.
And he's making like I'm the one doing bad. I spit on him to see if he comes. And I don't see on the rule book that you cannot spit.
Yeah. I misinterpreted the rules.
Well, show me on the rule book.
Yeah.
The guy,
I mean, all the things
right.
that we're doing to each other, spitting is the least of the...
But everything in life has a reason.
Yeah.
This guy ended up fighting my brother Hyan.
Mm-hmm.
And Hyan broke his arm. Put a beating on him and broke badly his arm.
Yeah.
You know, so it's... History happens as it should. We plan, God laughs. That's the reality.
I love that saying, bro.
He has, he has his plans, not us. You know, but I'm there for it. You know, and there was many things in favor of them when they fought. And they only fought there. They wouldn't fight outside. You know, they wouldn't go to compete anywhere else. Yeah. You know, and those who try look very bad. You know, what I noticed right away on the beginning, that on the third day I felt my worst, I begin going to Japan and paying for everything for myself. I had to pay for the hotel, for the food of me and my whole crew, so I could stay 3 more days there. So I normally would go with 6 days before my fight. But I remember every time on the third day, I couldn't get out of bed. It was a jet lag, a weakness. Only on the 4th day begin getting better, 4th, 5th, and then the 6th I was fighting. And they couldn't understand why I always did this.
Yeah.
You know how many contracts I signed with the Pride? 0.
Really?
I always only gave my word. That's it.
Wow.
And one day I go and say, no, for Hyan's fight, no, that's okay, it's signed. Renzo, Pride only does that with you.
Yeah.
Nobody else. You're the only one that you say.
And he did.
Yes, because there was one contract that I did for 3 fights in 1 year. When I was supposed to do my 3rd fight, they canceled. They postponed it. Then they realized it was transfer for the 14th month. So the contract was done. They had to pay me again.
Nice.
So they call me, they go, Renzo, just now we realized because of the postpone, we went over 2 months. I say, so how much money you want to make? Maybe you give us a break for the next fight. I say, there's no break. You pay me for 3 fights.
I'll give you 3 fights.
Within a year. I'm giving you 3 fights. Yeah. I know it's not your fault that you guys had to cancel, you know? So we're good. They say, what? Really? I said, yeah. I gave you my word. That's it. And this was throughout all those years in Pride. And I never realized. I thought that every time that I say, my brother, it's done, he has to sign, but not you. Renzo don't need to sign, you know? I never signed a contract.
Wow. That's insane. How do you deal with loss personally?
Of who?
Loss of friends, family, these things. What do you think that jiu-jitsu helped you with that kind of thing? Or
man, jiu-jitsu helps you with everything. Jiu-jitsu is the most amazing tool that mimics life. You know, you depend on your partner to be better. You know, if he submits you, you learn to be humble. If you submit your opponent in a very easy way, you learn to let him win too. So you guide the fight to make him better, so he can be a better opponent for you in the near future. So it's constantly, you're not improving just yourself, but everyone around you. Yeah. This is the beauty of jiu-jitsu. It's if you ask me what is impossible, I tell you impossible is nothing. I can do anything I think because of jiu-jitsu. Anything I feel like I want to do it, I can achieve it. I can do it thanks to jiu-jitsu. You know, I think he opens all the doors, opens any path. I cannot even see a barrier. I don't see a problem. You know, and this is thanks to jiu-jitsu, you know. So I think if you have kids and you want to see them better human beings, jiu-jitsu is the perfect
my kids, I have twins. 6 years old, they're already doing
really,
jiu-jitsu.
that's the best. My grandson is 8.
Yeah.
And he tells me, I say, what are you going to be when you grow up? A cop, a fireman? He was a fighter. Yeah. A very good fighter. I go, like your grandpa. Were you really good? Otherwise, I'll be better. I go, yes.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
The heritage that is passed on.
Yeah. At 3 years
That's
old,
nuts.
he watched a whole UFC with me. And every time the fight got good, he'll go,
So he knows.
oh,
He knows
yeah,
what he is.
yeah.
What's the okay? So you have a fight coming when?
I'm gonna check the dates that they have in the
He's
one
just
is
gonna
having
tweet. He's gonna be like, "I'm not ready.
yeah,
Whoever
yeah.
wants it, let's
one
get it."
one is gonna have 4 events in America this year.
Mm.
You know, they're getting ready for this, and I'm gonna start training now. I need to get in shape, and as soon as I get start feeling better, I'll look into a match. You know, they ask if I want someone my age. I say this is not a geriatric encounter.
Yeah, yeah. But this is striking, right, as well, or just jiu-jitsu?
Everything.
Everything.
What
yeah,
do you
nice.
think?
Nice.
I'm already married.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be just
You don't
garrison
need to be-
someone.
yeah,
What is
exactly.
this?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to hit someone.
Yeah, yeah. All right. This is a question you might not want to answer, but I'm sure you will. If you were to choose one Gracie, who you would say was the most complete
The
Who would it be?
most amazing soul I ever met
in jiu-jitsu? I mean,
jiu-jitsu.
practitioner. Yeah.
in jiu-jitsu was Hollis.
Okay.
Why? He was the first Gracie to have the concept of open mind to everything. He was a black belt in judo. He was the first guy to build a wrestling team in Brazil.
Mm.
And went to the Worlds in 1978. I was there watching them training. I have a picture in my gym at Upper West Side where Hollis is fighting a very tough guy that his son today fights in a UFC. And I'm sitting on the back with like low socks,
Yeah.
shorts, and I was 11 years old watching his match. You know, so it's his view of how to see jiu-jitsu, how to progress with jiu-jitsu, how to get better was actually what inspired me to become who I am and to build what I did. You know, I believe his view was the foundation of everything that I was able to set up.
And on the mats?
He was on the mats too. He was unbelievable.
You think he was the best on the mats?
Oh man,
Because a lot of people instantly would say Hickson, right?
Yeah, Hickson was his creation.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So
Hickson was the Frankenstein of
yes, it's like Hickson was the first strong Gracie. He was heavier.
He was bigger, yeah.
He was stronger. He was extremely fit, and his jiu-jitsu became unbelievable. But because he had all the views from Hollis, and that opened his eyes to become who he was. He was always amazing. He was the first Gracie to combine strength, physical preparation with very good jiu-jitsu. You know.
The Gracie family reminds me of two sayings that I really like. One of them is, "Old men plant a society grows great when old men plant seeds in which is tree they will never see the shade of." And the other one is, "I can only see further because I've stood on the shoulders of giants." So that I think
those two are perfect.
are perfect
Describe
for the Gracie
perfectly
name.
that, yes.
Yeah.
It's like you have to raise trees that even though you won't see the fruits, the future generations will enjoy that. And I see this a lot in my family on the jiu-jitsu world, you know?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Who was your biggest inspiration striking wise? Because not all the Gracies and the schools of thought in the Gracies are into striking as much as you were.
Yeah, Hollis really liked striking.
But other than Gracies, I mean, as a fighter, who did you go?
Oh,
Okay, that's my guy.
That was a very good Marcus Ruas fight that I saw how important hands were. I was there on that event. That's the event that I told you that I was 16 years old, and I had my shorts, my Speedos, and my mouth guard in my bag. If they needed, I was there to jump in. So Marcus Ruas had a very good Muay Thai. Till today, I saw the video of him training this week, still moving like a cat. But it's like I told you, Hollis taught me that every aspect was important. I couldn't just be a grappler. I couldn't just be a judo player. I couldn't just be a wrestler. I had to be complete, you know? I have a program today in my school of Muay Thai. We are the #1 team on the whole East Coast of the United States.
Wow.
We won 16 titles in 1 year, 13 on the next, 13 on the following, you know? And it's the funniest thing because they showed up, Renzo Gracie Muay Thai.
And I was like, huh?
And people say, is this a joke? The guy goes, watch the fights and then you tell us after, you know? So we have an amazing team, very good athletes on that sense, you know? And it's a beautiful work that we have there. We have over 350 students just for Muay Thai.
Wow.
You know, and we love it. We love it. I think a fighter should be complete.
Yeah, yeah.
Knowledge is never enough.
I mean, that, I think when I was speaking to Hoyce and we were talking about his first UFC, which was something like playing Street Fighter, right? You pick the sumo wrestler, or you pick Ken, you pick Ryu, you pick E Honda, and they're all fighting with their own styles. I think that was so important because you look now, you will never find in the UFC or these things a kickboxer, and that's it.
Yes.
Like everybody has started to
Has
realize
to
you
be
have to take
complete.
the
They
elements from
realize.
everything else.
Yes.
And they
And
train.
that's the seed that I believe we plant that spreads jiu-jitsu all over the globe.
Yeah.
The truth is, if you don't know jiu-jitsu, you're a victim. You have to know jiu-jitsu. But they say, oh, wrestling is better now. It's better because he knows jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, he will tap.
What do you think of Sambo?
I love Sambo too.
The
You have to
Dagestani
understand,
style.
at the same time, the Sambo was learned and developed in Russia. Jiu-jitsu was learned and developed in Brazil. You know, the difference is the rules that they apply on it. They kept closer to judo. You know, they limit themselves. When in jiu-jitsu we are so skinny and small. We try everything to win, to finish. My family was very small, and with that we were able to evolve jiu-jitsu to what jiu-jitsu it is today. You know, that was the difference. But I believe we learn it at the same time.
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings about jiu-jitsu that someone told me once, and I thought it was hilarious. He said, jiu-jitsu is the art of folding clothes with people still in
With
them.
people inside.
That is amazing, bro.
Yes.
It just works so well,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It works so well.
It is the truth.
Yeah, it is the truth.
Yes, yes.
Man, it's insane. What does the future hold for both yourself and for the Gracie name?
Man, I think
And before you answer that, one other question I want to throw before that. If a Gracie is totally against jiu-jitsu growing up, do you guys go, okay, fine, do it?
No problem.
Or is there a...
I was never forced
Hey.
to do jiu-jitsu. Nobody's ever forced to do jiu-jitsu. You know, freedom. Before
But they're subconsciously, indirectly forced because they're so surrounded by it that it becomes a part of them whether they like it or not.
That's, I believe it's so much around us.
Yeah. I mean, if you grow up
That you
around
end
drugs,
up-
if you have parents that are taking drugs and do it all day in the house,
you're
you
going to
will-
end up in drugs
Yeah,
and
yeah.
probably going to use more than your parents.
yeah.
Because kids will do things with more intensity than the generation before them. So it's the same thing with us. I think we are there. We never forced no kid to do it. It's like I don't force my grandson to do it. He asks. And my wife was telling me the other day, she goes, he's on his happiest when he steps on the mat. And it's the funniest thing ever. The moment that he steps on the mat, it's like he's at home. He's a paradise, you know? And this is, thank God, was all the plays that we had, all the jokes, all the fake fights I did with him in the kitchen, you know, watching the UFC. And he ended up falling in love and doing it.
It's beautiful for kids. Like, even like when my kids, they jump on me to hug me, I'm always like, pull guard. And they wrap their legs around me. So it's just like, they like, instead of saying wrap your legs around me, I try to use words to kind of keep it somehow.
That they know,
somehow, you know.
Put your hooks.
Where's your guard? Put your hooks in. And then they put it in, they're like, all right, cool.
And it's a funny thing because I think I began training when I was 5. But then when I think, every time my father played with me was like a jiu-jitsu match. We fought. We got me in an arm lock. He made me jump on and take his back. Shook me, put the hooks on.
Yeah, same when
So
I'm playing
that
with
was
even,
my,
Even when I do things like when I'm tickling
them
them arms, I'm saying I'm going to do tickle jitsu on you. Like I give it the to keep it because I want them to think it.
Yes.
But the one thing that I think, and I want your advice on, and maybe other people can take this advice. So my kids started when they were 5. And in the beginning, you know, the hardest belt to get in jiu-jitsu is a white belt, right?
The white belt, yes.
Because to keep going past that, once you've done that, that's good, bro. It's
then he goes, yes.
so during the first, and even I experienced this in right at the beginning, is that the problem isn't the pressure of the person doing these things to you. The problem is you have no idea what to do back or how to get out of it.
Yes.
Right? So as an adult, that's super frustrating.
Yes.
But as a child, it's 10 times more frustrating to them. So there was a point where they were like, and I don't know if I did the right thing or not, but they were like, we don't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, you want to go play football? Let's do something else. Let's take a break. And my friend was like, no, bro, force them. Take them. No matter what, you have to take them. And I was like, bro, I don't want them to hate I don't want them to hate it. I don't want them to see it as a burden.
Yes, you can never force them.
You know?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will hate it and
Yeah,
they
exactly.
won't. They won't.
Now,
go back.
now that they took a break, now they're like, we're going back to jiu-jitsu. They say it themselves,
Yes.
you know,
They,
and then
they
they started
miss.
back again.
Yeah, it's the whole. That is, you see, I always had a very good school.
Mm.
I always work hard and I push. I couldn't pass 150 students.
Mm.
That was the most that I had, 150. So one day I go to grab a pizza on the corner on 30th Street. I'm ordering the pizza there on the corner. Suddenly, a very big guy, strong, cut. He was probably 6'4".
Mm.
He looks at me, Renzo. I say, hey, champ, do you fight too? Do you? Yeah, I train. I train at Matt Sarah's Academy in Long Island.
Mm.
I go, oh, man, nice. That's a very good school. I love that place. How is it? And then he goes, oh, man, on the beginning it was very rough. Now I'm getting better, starting to feel better. I say, what do you do for a living? The guy was a fireman.
Wow.
So you're talking to a fireman who's 6'4", probably 240 pounds of muscle, lean.
Mm.
His son was 11 years old, was there with him, was taller than me. He's saying it's tough.
Mm.
So you imagine the guy who's worked the whole day in the office.
Yeah, he's coming back and
Who
he's like,
never lift a gram of weight, just, you know, want to learn the art. You know? So the moment that he told me this, I say, we're making a mistake. I went back to the academy and I designed the whole thing. We designed how to teach the beginners, how to do it, how to build confidence, how to make them well, to understand. I study everything about Starbucks.
nice.
Why?
But why you studied it? Because it's personal, right? They know the name of everyone. They tell them the name. You feel like they know
The
you.
first thing they do, they
Yeah,
put your name on the cup.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Name on everybody's gi.
Oh wow.
So every instructor had to call everyone at least 3 times by the name.
Yeah.
So they felt they were home.
Yeah.
And I study all the karate schools that were big karate schools, how they did it.
Mm.
So I designed the whole beginner's class. I learned it that it takes an average of 32 days for someone to be able to create that habit.
Mm.
I expanded that for 90 days, 3 months. So for those 3 months, I wouldn't let him train a full training session, only specific positions, and learning from every position, and he never was uncomfortable.
Mm.
The academy went in 4 months from 150 students to 450.
Wow.
The next 4 months, 800 students. I reached 1,500 students on that school.
Wow. And that's all by taking the time and
For you to have an idea, the
yeah.
billing company that collect the money came to my school saying that I was bullshitting. That I
They were
actually
like, you're
had
washing money. Yeah.
I had 5, 6 schools linked under one program.
Wow.
And they spent the whole day there. They freaked out. They had something that was the rank of the best schools in America. And the best schools was the one that collected the most money. So the highest was 93,000 a month, between 93 and 95. They used to, was 2 schools, one in Tennessee, another one I don't know where, that they keep going back and forth. So the guys say, when I sign up to stop getting the money directly from the billing company, they say, can we put it on the rank? I say, no. 6 months from now, you can put me in the rank because I'll be number 1 in 6 months. And they start laughing. The guy start laughing because these people been doing this for over 25 years. You just got here. You think you're going to be number 1 in 6 months? He goes, yeah, I'll call you and let you know. I called him in 4 months. I was number 1 in 4 months.
Nice.
In the end, they changed the rank. They make the rank of who doesn't lose students.
No way. They were like, we'll find a way. They tried to submit you with the ranks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Nobody. I was 3 times ahead of the second place.
Wow.
3 times. You know? So they make the rank. It was the so what happened? I have 1,500 students. I was going to, students will quit bigger than a school that has 100.
Yeah.
He loses 1, 2.
That's 10% or 20% of his thing.
Yes. You know?
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing ever, you know?
Dude, that's crazy. Is there anything that you feel like we missed out?
Oh man, we're good. Everything.
Is there any advice that you want to give to the people? Both
I want Raphael to stop that phone. Look, he cannot even see that we're talking about him. Look at him. You see? And he's doing an amazing job running the Renzo Gracie Dubai here. You know, the school looks amazing. I was there today and yesterday too.
Yeah.
You know, the kids are fantastic. I saw a beautiful Emirati kid training yesterday.
Wow.
Doing moves.
Yeah.
What's his name? Khaled.
Yeah.
Doing moves that I couldn't believe.
Wow.
It was really impressive, you know? It reminds me when I was a purple belt, you know, like, and he's a blue belt, huh? He's a blue belt. And he was moving like a purple belt.
Where is the academy? Your one? Oh, okay.
Right
okay.
across from Dubai Hills
I
Mall.
need to bring the twins.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
a beautiful place. Amazing people
Yeah,
there
yeah.
working and training there, you know?
Amazing. One bit of advice for the people.
Believe life only gets better. If I knew life was going to be so good, I wouldn't have dropped one tear when I was a child.
End it with porra.
Porra.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you, man.
My pleasure,
and this
brother.
is your house. You're more than welcome anytime.
I love
believe
it.
this
Thank
is
you.
one out of
Thank you,
one out of 3, 4, 5 episodes that
will
we're
do
gonna
it
do.
for sure.
Next time we do it, we'll bring him here so he can be on his
That'll
phone
be a
during
pleasure. And you
we'll
guys
do a
don't
good one.
realize, but this fire is very hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
I'm
It's like the
sweating
lights.
here. Yes.
Boom.
Thank you, brother.
We'll just we'll take some pictures so
Feel
we'll
free.
use for the thumbnails.
Yes, yes.